The Caff on Brick Lane. The inspiring story of a couple who tried to change the world with a cafe. Written by Joshua Monceaux. Narrated by Siobhan Cran. Copyright 2021. All rights reserved. The Broken Window Theory. The broken window theory, first posed by social scientists James Wilson and George Kelling in 1982, suggests that visible signs of abandonment or misconduct, such as a broken window, are likely to encourage even more abandonment or misconduct that will eventually lead to much more serious crimes. This theory has been used predominantly to explain the decay of neighborhoods, but has also been applied to professional and educational environments. Essentially, if a broken window is left unattended, then this gives the impression that the people in that area do not care. A lack of care encourages more people to break more windows, which leads to more criminal damage, which leads to more breaking and entering, and so on. Although this theory is not without its critics, I believe it is an important model to consider when imagining how we as individuals can contribute positively towards not just our local communities, but to the human species as a whole. However, if we just assume that this theory has its merits and is universally applicable, then we can also seek to reverse its logic. For example, if an unattended broken window or an increasing homelessness population is addressed by a community that cares, then that care for the community will become violently contagious. This can only be good. After all, when a neighborhood is cared for by its inhabitants, then the mechanisms required to make those inhabitants feel safe and secure should begin to naturally form. I wrote this short story with this theory in mind, as I wanted to attempt to encourage my readers to think more about how they could positively contribute towards society. I believe that many of us have inadvertently developed a very selfish and individualistic mentality that would have us move away from the broken window rather than seek to fix it. By no means am I claiming that this book will change the world, but I do hope that it inspires at least one reader to change their outlook on life for the better. This book is my positive contribution towards society. I hope you enjoy reading it as much as I enjoyed writing it. Prologue. City streets never look the same near train tracks. There's a telltale on people's steps as they get closer to the rails, the way they turn on sharper corners and odd directions. There's a disruption to it all, and it subtly only gets thinner with time. As locals grow older and start moving around, they realize how even the most irrational urban layout they had the luck to grow up in only gets wilder as its streets accommodate the metal veins spreading out from the nearest station. However, if it were merely a landscaping incident, then it would be something to exploit. Cities all over the world would turn entire neighborhoods into overwhelmingly monstrous industrial centers, and the spaces would be experienced completely differently. But that's not the case in most parts of the world. You won't find shark-like business people looking to invest in the alleys behind the tracks, planning the next skyscraper to outshine all others. The streets near the train tracks rarely attract that sort of interest. Those who wander around will notice the numerous shops stacked next to each other, only interrupted by an occasional thin door. Above the various eateries and notorious second-hand shops, there are usually a few narrow windows, and there's no use expecting to count higher than 2 floors. The wall
Sample complete. Ready to continue?